Micah recently upped his Patreon pledge to $10, which means he gets to request me to review a movie on Netflix. And he wanted me to look at the 2006 animated film adaptation of Curious George. The neat thing about this request is I don't even need to watch it on Netflix, because I already own this movie on DVD. That's right, I like it that much. Part of the appeal of this movie is how sweet and charming it is, while also successfully adapting the books. Last week I discussed the difference between family films and children's films, and mentioned Follow That Bird as an example of how to make a good children's film. Well, Curious George is another good children's film. Director Matthew O'Callaghan clearly respects the source material created by H.A. and Margaret Ray, and manages to adapt the story of a frequently interested monkey and his yellow-suited owner to appeal to a modern generation without sacrificing the core ideas and messages of the books. There's something pure about this film and how it manages to create a decent amount of humor out of George's curiosity. Key to the film's success is the growing relationship between the man in the yellow hat, here named Ted, and George. George is so likable as he only seems to see the good in everyone, and we do root for Ted as he tries to turn the museum he works at into a bigger success. O'Callaghan also does a good job of giving proper time to both fast-paced slapstick scenes and slower character-based scenes. One of my favorite moments in the movie is when Ted and George are at the park and just admiring the stars. One of the most striking elements of the film is the animation. For years, they've been trying to make Curious George into a live-action CG adaptation, akin to something like Stuart Little. Brad Bird was even involved at one point. Then one day, the movie's producer, Ron Howard, suggested they should just make it a hand-drawn animated film to really capture the book's illustrations. And this was during that time when studios like Disney and DreamWorks were shutting down their hand-drawn animation departments. It really shows how much sway Ron Howard has within the industry, and especially at Universal. The animation has a really beautiful color palette, with a lot of rounded edges and fittingly a good amount of yellows. A number of former Disney animators worked on this film and managed to bring a wonderful array of expressions to Ted and George. Character designers Shannon Tyndall and Shane Prigmore also did a wonderful job of translating the original illustrations for this big screen tale. And the backgrounds are absolutely lovely, especially George's jungle home. Jack Johnson's songs also complement the film really well, with a nice laid-back feeling very fitting for George's character. Interestingly, while Curious George was not a particularly successful film at the box office, it actually managed to have one of the best-selling soundtracks for an animated film. I think that's a testament to how pleasing Johnson's songs are. Curious George also has a really good voice cast. Will Ferrell seems like an unusual choice to voice the man in the yellow hat, but he does a really good job of handling a character who's equally annoyed and charmed by George's antics. And while you have other big names like Drew Barrymore and Dick Van Dyke, they also included a number of professional voice actors. Frank Welker is of course excellent as George. He has voiced a number of monkeys in his career, but he doesn't just opt for generic monkey sounds. George's personality comes through so well in Welker's vocal performance. Billy West and Jeff Bennett also have a funny cameo as the salespeople who sell Ted his iconic yellow outfit. And Alexander Gould, the voice of Nemo, and future Modern Family actress Ariel Winter play a couple of schoolchildren. Overall, Curious George is a more than worthy adaptation of the Rays' classic stories, and it's also a movie that's unashamed of being rated G. It's rather refreshing in this day and age, and it's a shame it's been forgotten. I actually find this to be the best animated film of 2006, although for some reason it did not receive any sort of awards recognition that year. Even the Annie Awards ignored it. Thank you so much for requesting I talk about Curious George, Micah. It's a film that's sure to lift anyone's spirits. Definitely give it a watch sometime.